I finally found the agency to live in my authenticity. Ooh, I got my own autonomy. You could never bother me. Yes, I'm a fuck with the ball, yeah. I finally found the agency to live in my authenticity. Ooh, I got my own autonomy. You could never bother me. Yes, I'm unfucked with the ball. Let me tell you how I know. I had to get up off the floor. I had to get it out the mud. I had to finally let it go. I know my mama told me so, but she could never really know that when a boy was getting older, that his mind was getting sober, yeah. But I'm getting closer now. I had a church, but I closed it down. Had to reverse the emotions. I had to apologize. Selling eternity, willing to die. I was just living a lie. Walking by faith and ignoring the sight. Better off rolling the dice. And what I'm saying is that I'm living and I've learned. I've given and I've earned enough of my concern. And if I'm living, then I'm living on my terms. Call it a lesson learned, but it's finally been confirmed. I finally got the agency to live in my authenticity. Ooh, I got my own autonomy. You could never bother me. Yes, I'm up with the ball, yeah. I finally found the agency to live in my authenticity. Ooh, I got my own autonomy. You could never bother me. Yes, I'm up with the ball. I finally found the agency to live in my authenticity. Ooh, I got my own autonomy. You could never bother me. Yes, I'm up with the ball. I finally found the agency to live in my authenticity. Ooh, I got my own autonomy. You could never bother me. Yes, I'm unfucked with the ball. I can't stop loving authenticity. I can't stop loving me. I can't stop loving authenticity. I can't stop loving me. Yeah,
Hello and welcome to BridgeCity Global. This is the first Sunday of February 2025. BridgeCity is a group of people from all over the globe committed to building community beyond superstition. My name is Chris Mallard, and I'm the host of the Daily Atheist Morning Show, a sister network working in collaboration with BridgeCity Global. I'm so glad that you're here with us for another weekend of Sunday sessions. Since March of last year, our community experiment has grown from 52 to more than 6,500 subscribers across 6 continents. Whether you're watching alone, with a friend, or with a group, we invite you to participate in these transformative conversations with us as we work together as a community to connect over personal exploration and global elevation. Consider joining our Discord campus and introducing yourself. Speaking of community, if you happen to get here early on Sundays, consider dropping in on our pre-session meet and greet in Discord to get to know some of our awesome community members. Major shout out to Atheist Odyssey for hosting a Sunday session watch party. We appreciate you and we love you. If you haven't already, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the alert notification bell, and if you don't mind, share it to your social media. It really does help. Check out the polls in the chat and let us know if you're a first-time guest or a repeat offender. Consider joining or supporting or connecting with this content or channel in any way that makes sense for you. And check out our merch and our books by following the links in the chat. Before we move on to our next segment of the session, if you find this community and the conversation valuable, please take a moment to share this stream so that it reaches someone who might be in some sincere need of secular community this weekend. And if you just shared this, will you let us know in the chat by typing, "I shared this"? Thank you. Take care.
Thank you, Chris, as always. All right, family, thank you for joining us for the first Sunday in February. Happy Black History Month. Also, happy Love Month for those who celebrate it as well. But we appreciate you for tuning in. I'm your host for Bridge City News today, Darnaya Darice. If this is your first time joining us, or if you've been here a long time, It doesn't matter. We appreciate you. Let us know where you're watching from. So drop it in the chat, city and state, if you are comfortable with that. If not, you can just drop your state. We'd love to keep track of that. And if you watch every so often, we'll show the map of all the dots of the locations that we're represented in. And so we appreciate you all because that helps continue to accelerate the work we're building beyond superstition. And so we are building community off of that. So thank you so much. We're also launching something different in Discord in light of recent political changes. Our community engagement lead, Dale Gray, aka Advocated for Humanity, has highlighted how important it is for people in need to have access to resources, right? And so in order to accommodate that, and until we're able to really set in place to help with those needs directly, we're looking to curate a list of support of resources that can be made available and for people to access nationwide and eventually across the globe, so that we can host it on our site as well. So if you know of any organizations that help with food, utilities, shelter, just anything that we're setting up, we're going to set up a channel in the Discord for you to put it there where we can host it there and share that information. So make sure you check that out. The channel is called Support Resources under the Inclusivity Interests section of our Discord campus. Also, since it's the first of the month, that means we have another session and episode of Ex-Pastor Call Show or Ex-Pastor Call-In Show. Twisting those words there. It's tonight at 5, so make sure you join us back. If you have any questions that weren't able to get answered in January or have any new questions, be prepared to join us then, so Kyle and Darante can answer them at that time. We always have a good time in there, so we appreciate you all for joining back. Also, attention to content creators. Join us next Sunday, February 9th at 5 p.m. Central for an exclusive conversation with Jason from Dragons in Genesis for content creators. If you've had questions about how to get started with content creation, what equipment you should start out with, or to buy software to use, or even how to reach your target audience with your content that matters, this conversation is for you. So make sure you join us next Sunday for that as well. Also in February is a busy month. Every month is a busy month. I must say that. But in February, on February 23rd, Darante will be making his second appearance on Maya Atkinson's Bad Science Sundays. So check him out there as well. They have so much fun on her channel also on Sunday night. So make sure you're tuning in to that. And then in March, in March, we're going to be starting something we like to call midday mindfulness. In these sessions, we will talk about, and it'll be kind of centered around what we call MAP, and that's meditation, affirmation, proclamation, and petition. And it's to get your mind right, get you elevated, get you going, motivated, and get you right in that space that you need to be for the rest of the year and so forth. And Darante and I plan to do it that first week of March. Those midday mindfulness sessions, and we won't keep you too long on there because we know you have things to do throughout the day. But the following weeks for that month, we will also like others to host and join in, where we're not up on the front line, but you are. It could be 2 to 4 people, however many like to sign up. So if you're interested in hosting one of those midday mindfulness chats or get more information about it, go ahead and put in the chat, I'll host, or you can drop in midday in the chat, and we'll make sure you get the link to Discord. So that way, when you join Discord, or if you're already in there, we can reach out to you directly to get you more information on building that, and getting ready for that. And after that, we're coming to Raleigh. So we plan to come spring of 2025 in April. So a lot going on as usual. So if you're anywhere near that location or interested in joining in, volunteering, or just showing up, we would love your support. We do have a link where you can donate just to, if you're not able to show up, you can donate financially. That's totally fine, or support that way. You can support through sporting our merch as well. We have specific rally merch that you can sport as well. So we'll drop those links in the chat. And we also have a new Discord channel for the rally event. It's called BC Rally. And that's where you can let us know if you plan to support in any way, such with the planning, the preparation, the managing of that event. And so we need your support. We love your support there for those who are in that area. So make sure you reach out to us. And if you're planning on being there, registration is absolutely free. And you can register today. We're going to drop the link in the chat to register for the rally event. So click that link, fill out it's basic registration. It's not lengthy at all. All right. And so we'd love to see you sign up there. And like I said, we'll drop the crowdfunding link in the chat also. And if you would like to join the rotation of our weekend warriors that make these sessions possible, we only need about 3 hours to spare. If you have a spare time for one Sunday or Wednesday to contribute some time for our live shows, we'll be grateful to have your support there. You can type "I'll help" in the chat, and our moderators will make sure that you get access to the link and Discord. We have like a calendar link where you can sign up on specific Sundays or Wednesdays to help us out in that regard. And are you looking for a way to get even more involved with BridgeCity Global? Don't forget to check out our guide of resources and make sure to join us every first Saturday in Discord for our BridgeCity Dreaming Community Development Sessions. We're going to drop the document link there so you can get more information about that. We had our February session yesterday, and it was great to really converse and get some thoughts and ideas out with the team. So thank you all who all joined yesterday. And if you have some extra time after the show, consider hanging out with some awesome members in Discord. Every Sunday, our community hosts a pre-session meet and greet and a post-session hangout for those who want to continue the conversation and for those who might be curious about community. So it's a great way to make some new connections and cultivate community. And so we'd love to see you there on Discord. We'll also drop that link. So keep up with these links, y'all. Keep up with the links. And so we here at Bridge City want to show our support also to the families affected by the California fires. So by sharing a free resource offered by Comfort Zone, the services for families with kids ages 10 through 18. And also this service is next week. So please share or sign up soon if you need that help. We will be providing the sign up sheets with further details. Okay. So look out for that. And if you have just any other upcoming community events that you would like to share with us to add to our news segment, please drop your announcements in the promote stuff channel. So we do have a promotion channel in Discord, and you can use the hashtag BridgeCityNews so we know to add it specifically to our Sunday Sessions news section. And if you're curious as to just how many people are working hard to make this community possible, make sure you stay to the end so you can see the credits. All right, so thank you for listening to me this long. We are going to move on to our music session, which is always nice. So let's get to it.
What's up, everybody? So as you all know, we've started this Bridge City music portion of our Sunday sessions to really add to the experience. A major part of our 2025 focus, the Big Five in 2025, immersing ourselves in this, is this idea of making sure that we're strengthening the quality of our online campus experience. And so that's what some of this is. And so what I'm going to do is I have two songs that I'm going to sing today that I'm going to throw something else in the middle of. But these are songs that I wrote about 2 years ago. But I felt they kind of fit with the theme of our conversations lately. And of course, we're still experimenting with audio as well. So we'll see how these things work out. We're still getting it right. We're not making excuses. We're just making adjustments. You feel me?
I know there were some times when things were rough. I know there were some days you just gave up. I know it is a phase if you'll get up. So I'm here to remind that you're enough. I know there were some times when things were rough. I know there were some days you just gave up. I know this is a phase if you'll get up. So I'm here to remind that you're enough. Oh, you're enough. You're not lacking anything, 'cause you're enough just as you are. 'Cause you're enough. You're not lacking anything. Oh, I know there were some times when things were rough. I know there were some days you just gave up. I know it is a phase if you'll get up. So I'm here to remind that you're enough. I know there were some times when things were rough. I know there were some days you just gave up. I know this is a phase if you'll get up. So I'm here to remind that you're enough. Oh, you're enough. You're not lacking anything, 'cause you're enough just as you are. You're enough. You're not lacking anything. Oh. And just because this was very familiar, these chord progressions, there's a song that I used to lead when I was a pastor. And I figured, since last week we talked about squatting up, I said, you know what? Squad kind of reminds like God. It kind of sounds like God. So I think I can make this work. So it went like this. My squad is big and strong and mighty, and their plans for me is victory, victory, victory. My squad is big and strong and mighty, and their plans for me is victory, victory, victory. There's nothing my squad cannot do. There's nothing my squad cannot do. I wish we were all in here together so we could sing it. There's nothing my squad cannot do. There's nothing my squad cannot do. There's nothing my squad cannot do. There's nothing our squad cannot do. And there's nothing our squad cannot do. Oh, there's nothing our squad cannot do. And so I have one more song. This is going to be in a slightly different key. But I wrote this one 2 years ago and I thought it was really encouraging. So we'll see what you think. We'll see if it encourages you. Remember when it fell apart? Remember when it broke your heart? And remember when you had to start again? You doubted what you could do. You didn't think you could make it. But looking back now, you made it through. You made it through. You made it through. You made it through. Look how you made it through. That's what you do. Never forget that's what you do. Remember when it fell apart? Remember when it broke your heart? And Remember when you had to start again? You doubted what you could do. You didn't think you could make it. But looking back now, you made it through. You made it through. You made it through. You made it through. Think how you made it through. You made it through. Look how you made it through. That's what you do. Oh, yeah. That's what you do. That's what you do. Never forget that's what you do. You made it through. You made it through. You made it through. Look how you made it through. You made it through. Think how you made it through. That's what you do. Never forget that's what you do. Never forget that's what you do. Making it through is what you do. Never forget that's what you do. Never forget that's what you do. Making it through is what you do. Making it through is what you do. Thank y'all for joining me for this brief session, and now we'll jump over into the conversation.
Hello, hello. I hope y'all enjoyed it as much as I did. I was about to run over to the mic and say, squad up. I was about to do a little singing myself. Come on with it.
Squad up.
Yes. And so thank you for tuning in. Ember, I see you. Kurt, Maya, Kyle, everyone, Zell, Muttley. Thank y'all. Eyes opening, heart realigning. Thank you. Punch me hard. Thank you.
This is beautiful.
Yes, we appreciate you all. And also on the screen, you see all of the books that are available on Amazon, and we have some great news.
Yep. So for the next 5 days, starting tomorrow. I was off the screen. So starting tomorrow, excellent news. Monday through Friday, all of my books on Amazon will be free. So Monday through Friday, this is our Black History Month special because my most recent book was Black Non-Believer Next Door. And I don't know if any of you have read Memphis, The Last Supper, but there is a lot of Black history in that book. And if you actually pay very close attention to the book cover, you're going to notice hints of red, hints of black, and hints of green. And so I was thinking about, well, I'll just give these 2 books away for free for the next 5 days. And I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm giving all of them. So any of my books, if you find any of my books on Amazon, that's Black Non-Believer Next Door, that's Christ Held Up, that's Insignificant, which is the very first book that I ever published. There is Memphis, The Last Supper, which is my first novel. My second novel, part 2 to that, is coming out soon. I don't know how soon because your boy stays busy, and for whatever reason, I can't stop adding shit to my plate. So I'm not getting to write as much as I want, but that's, but be on the lookout for Memphis Part 2. And then there's Shortcuts to Parenting on Purpose, which I don't talk about a lot, but it's there as well. And so all of these books, if you were ever interested in buying any of our books and you were like, well, I just don't have the budget, then this is great news for you. You don't need the budget, right? If you go ahead and get these books within the next 5 days, all e-copies, of course, you get these books in the next 5 days, they will be absolutely free starting tomorrow. All right, so that's good, right?
Yes.
All right, so that's it. Are y'all ready to start this conversation today?
Let's start it.
again, I always want to thank you all just for your support every weekend. It's amazing that y'all show up here every weekend to be a part of these conversations and to contribute to these conversations in a very tangible way. And it really goes far. This is how we've been able to build such a resilient and a strong community. So let's kind of jump into this. Y'all ready? We're now 3 weeks into this, what has become a record-breaking series of conversations around the idea of becoming unfuckwithable as a community and as individuals. Now, intentionally launching on King Weekend, we started off pulling from the individual lives and legacies of Martin, Malcolm, and Marcus in an attempt to pull some talking points on living resiliently and in our own authenticity, which is what our new intro song kind of appeals to now. Yeah. And we called that conversation Crown Me, using the imagery of royalty to appeal to our own sense of autonomy and personal accountability.
How you said it was some
crown me. It was gonna power. Crown me. I was gonna go Rick James with it for a moment. Crown me, bitch. I don't know. It just felt right. It felt right. You know what I mean? All right. And then last week, we stumbled into an explosive conversation about community solidarity and synergy, unpacking nearly 10 pages of notes on the power of community, collaboration, and collective effort. Mm-hmm. Last week's conversation has somewhat become a missional echo, a reminder that we're not in this alone and that together we can become the bridge to better outcomes, you know? And so it's a reminder that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do in life, even when everything seems to be working against you, even when you feel like you can't pick yourself up, even when you feel like you can't fight against, everything that is coming against you, sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is squad up. Like it was a whole movement last week. The most powerful things you can do is squad up. It reminds me of an old song that we used to sing in church and back. Actually, I never sang it in church. I just remember them singing it on the Michael Jackson movie. Diana Ross and Michael Jackson sang it together. And it was reach out and touch somebody's hand. Squad up. That's what that is. That's the 2025 version of reach out and touch somebody's hand and make this world a better place if you can. It's squad up. It's Bridge City. It is be the bridge. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Yes.
Not anything else.
I mean, if you want to, if they're open to it,
get a consent.
Gotta get consent. Gotta get consent. So the previous conversations were designed to position us as a community in collaborative resilience and solidarity, so that we can clearly see the power of both our individual and collective capacity. The world is a scary, lonely, and sometimes dangerous place when we face it as individuals, especially untethered from the safety of community. And there has never been a time in human history where that has not been the case. But now that we're together, what do we do? Over the past year, we have come together. Ultimately, all of us were strangers a year ago. And now we have come together over a common ideology, over a common mission, over a common methodology. What's that methodology? Just be a better way to connect. What's that mission? To just build community beyond superstition. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but boy, it's cooking in the kitchen. Yeah, I love it. So, sorry. Especially in the face of fascism, discrimination, and increasing attacks on humanity. Now that we're together, what do we do as a community? If you're as passionate and as intentional as I am about turning the tide of marginalization and moving this world forward in progress, if you're as excited as I am, will somebody type today's title in the chat? Did you know what it was? Did you check it out? Today is Fight Forward Day. Somebody type Fight Forward in the chat. If you're ready, if you're excited, if you know we're about to do the damn thing, if you're ready to be a part of a community that's actually making a difference and actually moving forward, we're going to let people know, no, we don't fight back. We fight forward. Ain't nothing back there that I want. Why the fuck would I fight backward? Nope. We're fighting forward. Oh, that's good. Yes. Shit.
And so what do we mean by fight forward? Fight forward is an expression that means to take a proactive approach to challenges and work towards a better outcome. It can also mean to move past negative situations and focus on moving in a healthy way. And at its essence, it's about turning friction into fuel.
That's it. And so today, that's really what this whole conversation is about. It's going to be about, and I mean, I can't wait to hear what your thoughts are on this. I can't wait to see how y'all contribute to this, because we've created some root. Yes, pragmatic humanists, fight forward, not one step back. Come on. That needs to be a shirt. The front of the shirt needs to say fight forward, and the back of the shirt needs to say not one step back. I love that.
Let me screenshot.
Yes, screenshot that. Come on in the room. Yes. And like, you know, while I'm there, like I haven't even jumped in my notes yet, but that just reminded me of something. Is that, all right, y'all. So y'all know we're building a content creation team. And in building that content creation team, one of the things that we're going to be doing is adding more faces and voices on this channel. So as a matter of fact, this Wednesday night, you're going to see Chris Mallard on with me for Bible study with an ex-pastor. I thought I was going to be out of town, but I'm not. But Chris has been a wonderful support host for us so far. So bringing him in. And by the way, he has a call-in show happening today. So make sure you check it out. And if you just stayed long enough to this video, I've already made sure that it redirects there. So, and that, because that's what partnership looks like, right? That's what partnership looks like. But while I'm pulling them together, and as our channel is growing, our channel is monetized. So the more we do earn ad revenue. And so we are now looking at creating a share system, a revenue sharing system across everybody who participates and helps out. Now, we're not near those thresholds yet to get there, but that's our goal. Our goal is to get to that place where we have enough of a threshold where the people who are helping us with production stuff, that we can pay them hourly and they can be taken care of. And then also anybody who's helping us do content, anybody who's helping us on this channel, if they're co-hosting, they will get a share of whatever's happening from there. And so in the spirit of that, and I promise you, we'll get back to the message in a moment, but in the spirit of that, just because we started talking about these t-shirts and stuff, that's another thing. That's another way. Our channel sells shirts. I actually realized, like, dang, we could actually be giving people an affiliation thing. And so we could set up an affiliation link where if you sell our shirt, if you promote our shirts and someone buys through your link, you can get some revenue for yourself. But then also, if you have ideas about shirts and you think, oh, I think this would be incredible, and maybe you don't have a marketplace, we'd love for you could market with us, and that would create something for you as well. So because that's working together. That's, you know, that's putting some socialism on it. You know what I'm saying? Throw some socialism on it. You know, that's how you do that shit.
Throw some fire.
So, you know, it's sharing. It is sharing. It is sharing. I'll die fighting for what matters. Yes, I love
sharing
that.
Sharing is caring. We learned that.
Yes, that's right. Sharing is caring. All right. So this whole conversation, back to the conversation. I'm sorry. I hope some of y'all are excited about that as I am, because listen, at the end of the day, we don't just exist to be a community where you come to watch people and just, you know, get titulated. We exist to be a community that actually builds infrastructure, builds economic systems so that we can experiment with the solutions that we believe are better. Like that's the dishonesty that I call most people out on. Don't tell other people what you think they should be doing if you're not experimenting with what you think is the solution. And so we're out here experimenting with the solution because we want to build bridges to better outcomes. That's what it's about. Oh, and it looks like we got a super chat. Oh, man. Thank you, Muttley. We love you. Muttley is amazing. Muttley is a patron and he super chats every week. Beautiful. Endless shows for the win. Let's go. Let's go. All right. So today's conversation is about fighting forward. It's about learning how to deal with conflict, learning how to deal with friction, and how to turn it into fuel. Today, we're going to be talking about how to use adversity as a catalyst. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, things will often, and this is just a truism, if you will, things will often get worse before they get better. And the reason things often get worse before they get better is because it takes so long for people to realize that they got to do something about it, right?
Yeah.
And so most times our reaction, because what we're talking about throughout all these conversations is becoming unfuckwithable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And what I'm realizing is that much of how we respond sometimes is reactionary. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is why it pushes us backward. This is why we opened this series up talking about resilience and authenticity. That just because the world changes doesn't mean I'm changing. Boy, y'all better talk to me out here. I don't care how backwards America wants to go. I'm not going there with it. You understand? I will constantly be the light moving forward as best as I can. And as the old church used to say, I'll go if I have to go by myself. I can go by myself. But the point is, we're going to learn how to turn that. Oh, yes, things get worse also because you realize you will no longer tolerate it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're the unfuckwithable community. No, we don't tolerate it. We're ready to change it. But in order to change it, we've got to know how to deal with conflict. We run into people all the time that are surprised by conflict. I hope throughout this series, you're learning how to no longer be surprised by conflict, that you're no longer being surprised by friction. But at this moment, you're learning how to get excited about opposition. You're learning how to get excited about adversity, because we're about to take it there. All right, so let's get here. So what do we do? Like right now, we're in the US. Fascism is on the rise. Someone emailed me this week and I haven't responded yet. And if you're watching, this is my response. So somebody emailed this week and said, oh man, oh, thank you, Cherry. That's so sweet.
Appreciate.
But they said, Darante, what do you do with so much bigotry on social media and all of these places? How do you combat it? Here's my honest truth. It doesn't exist on my social media. Mm-hmm. I don't know why y'all following bigots in the first place. The moment I see somebody is sharing some shit that I don't want to see in my feed, I remove it. Mm-hmm. I unfollow, I block. No, I have no need to convince a bigot of shit. Yeah. We went through a conversation about how mind change works. People are responsible to change their own fucking minds. I'm one of those people who says when somebody shows you who they are, believe them, remove them, block them, delete them, whatever the fuck else you got to do. You know what I'm saying? So what I encourage people to do, because this is how many of us feel right now. This is how many of us feel right now. We feel like, oh, there's just so much going on here. There's so much this. And it's like, it is. It always has been, honestly. Is it getting worse? Maybe it is. But instead of you getting into that position of defense and reaction, focus on the goals and the steps to achieve it. So let's make that make sense. No matter what the problem is, no matter what the incidence is, this should always be the guiding question. What do we want and what can we do to attain it, right? So if you're going through your social media feed and it's a bunch of bigotry, ask yourself, what's the goal? Is my goal to see a bunch of bigotry? Right. I had to do this to myself. Like I remember years ago, we were living in a hotel, and y'all know I was a Black nationalist. Years ago, we were living through a hotel, and I was living in a hotel, and I was obsessed with the news. So every day before I go to work, and every day when I get off of work, that's right. Trust a snake to be a snake. Trust them, but know them. That's it. So I was watching the news every day, and of course at this time there were a lot of Black lives just being brutally murdered every day on the news. It was trauma porn consistently, and I remember sitting in there one day watching that, just feeling all of that rage and feeling all of that anger, and saying, Darante, bro, you live in a hotel. You can't do shit about any of this right now. Like you really can't. Yeah. You need to better manage your emotions so that you can use them for your benefit. Mm-hmm. Yes, what is happening is deplorable. It is disgusting. And if you really care and are not just attached to this from a childish position, if you really care, then your goal has to be putting yourself in a position to do something about it. And that became my goal. I started pulling myself away from stuff that had, y'all know, I'm a pragmatist. What is the utility of watching this shit? If you go back when we did the shit, what was the series? Please Don't Stop the Music. If you go back to the Please Don't Stop the Music series, we talked about the importance of controlling the flow of information in your life. You know, I shared on Facebook this morning, I'm almost tempted to pull it up, that one of the reasons I had to, one of the things that disappointed me about the church is that I realized the church in many ways was becoming trauma traps. Trapping people in their sorrow, in their shame, and in their guilt, making them feel like without Jesus, you're never going to be better. You're always going to be stuck in this trauma. And then I'm now realizing that in many groups in the secular community, I'm hearing some of that similar type of trauma trap, where we're just so focused on what we're afraid of and what we're angry about and what we're sad about. And I'm like, at what point do we start managing those emotions and coming back to the place, but what do we want to do about this shit? I don't want to be angry tomorrow. I don't want to be sad tomorrow. Sure, let's be sad today. Let's be angry today. But tomorrow, by the end of the day, we need to be thinking, what the fuck can we do about it? So remember, focus on the goal, right? So when we're talking about turning friction into fuel, and honestly, though we're just talking about community, this works in any conflict. In any conflict you find yourself in, any argument you find yourself in with people you love, in the middle of that argument, ask yourself, what's the goal? What exactly is the goal? What do I want to get out of this? What is it that I actually want to accomplish? So the first one, when we're talking about using adversity as a catalyst, the first thing is focus on the goal. Something shows up in front of you that's trying to block you for whatever it is you're trying to achieve. And I got to be honest, though this election was not a surprise for me, I felt a little like, whoosh, because I'm like, holy shit, I'm out here trying to build secular community. This is something that I'm literally committing, like kind of like the rest of my life to. And America just basically put a big ass nail in the face of secularism. And so I was like, oh shit, will I survive? Will this still work? Yeah. That's the adversity. That's the opposition. I don't focus on the opposition. I focus on the goal. You have to see through the opposition. The only thing you need to know about the opposition is that shit is in your way and it needs to get out of your way. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I tell you, that's that black nationalism coming right there. That's it. That's good, Kyle. Check your internal monologue and output. That's right. Man, that's right, pragmatic humanist. Who needs that aggravation? All right, so not only do we want to focus on the goal, but you also want to work on building resilience. Like that's one thing that I've learned in life is that you can build resilience. We can build resilience. I've learned, like I had to, like honestly, when I was a believer, when I was a Christian, when I was a charismatic Christian, I treated myself like I was fragile.
Yeah.
I treated myself like anything could break me. I treated myself like everything could break me. I spent a lot of time crying. I was afraid of events happening. I was afraid of taking risks. Man, we just got another super chat in there, so I'm going to take a break and I'm going to hit that bad boy.
Trayvon.
Oh, Trayvon, man. He says, hope everybody's having a good day. Sorry I can't catch these lives. Keep motivated, everybody. I'll catch the playback. We appreciate you, Trayvon, man. I love you. I love you. I think I'd be adding an extra Trey in Trayvon's name. You got to let me know if I be mispronouncing your name, bro, because I be fucking people's names up. It might just be Trayvon, and I'm just like Trayvon. You know, I'm just throwing that shit out there. Who knows? We'll find out. He'll let us know. And that's what I love about our community. Please never feel free to educate me on how to treat you. That's your prerogative, like literally. Isn't that beautiful? So in my first book, Insignificant, which by the way, we told y'all all 5 of my books are free Monday through Friday of next week. Black History Special. But in my first book, I wrestled with that. And I think I've read some of that. Oh, perfect. I did it. Yes, it was Trayvon. Look at that. I'm good, man. I'm good with it. But I wrestled with that because it was a part of my deconversion experience where I was wrestling with like, what the fuck is wrong with my life? You know, that was a serious question for me. Like, what is wrong with my life, I've done everything that I know to be good. I think when you and I got back together, that was something that I would say, like, I've done everything right. I did everything right, man. And my life is just kind of falling apart. And so I really started struggling with that, or wrestling with it rather. Which the difference between struggle and a wrestle is that I'm in this shit on purpose. When it's a struggle, you fighting me. When it's a wrestle, I'm fighting back, fighting forward. I messed it up, fighting forward. But I realized I did this thought experiment where I said to myself, like, the things that you don't have, or the things that you have not achieved. And I had achieved a lot at that time, but it just didn't mean it was good. It just wasn't beneficial. Right. But I realized, like, that some of the things that I felt that man, I could have been this, could have been that, could have been this. And it's like, well, you still could. The only reason you're not is because you didn't get in the ring and fight that fight. Oh, y'all don't want to talk to me now. And so, like, I had to look back over my life and looked at every place where there was a opportunity to grow, an opportunity to get stronger, but it looked too much like getting in the ring. So I didn't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I realized that one of the biggest ways to build resilience is you've got to get in the fucking ring. You've got to get to that place where you say, you know what? I'm no longer afraid of struggle. I'm no longer afraid of conflict. I'm no longer afraid of adversity. The moment I separated myself, dang, I'm gonna try it. Gilliame.
It seemed like a dope name.
It does. I want to make it a character in one of my novels now. Like, that is super dope. But no, you get in the ring. You face the challenges head on, so you can build a sense of inner strength and confidence. And that's kind of like a theme in many of our conversations, because I can't remember which series it was. But I love that, Kurt. No longer afraid of being broken. Yes. No longer being afraid of failing. No longer being afraid of, right, Muttley? Yes. No longer being afraid of falling down. No longer being afraid of messing up. No longer being afraid of getting it wrong, because it's all of those things that scare us about adversity. It's, well, what if I handle it the wrong way? Then you will learn that is the wrong way.
It's the wrong way.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you've got to give yourself the grace to approach stuff and be like, why would I expect myself? Why would I expect myself to know how to handle something that I've never handled before? So I'm going to have to give myself grace at this, to just throw myself at it. As Kyle says, I'm just going to do a swan dive approach here, and we're going to see what happens. I cannot hold myself hostage to things that I don't know. So a part of building resilience is getting in there, getting involved, and being okay if you get knocked the fuck out the ring the first time. It's okay. It happens. This is your first fight. I don't know how you thought you were going to get in the ring and beat this motherfucker who's been doing this 10 times. No. Sometimes you have to. I hope a major part of building resilience, and we'll move on to the next one, is being prepared to lose. Have you ever thought about that before?
Yeah.
Everybody who becomes a boxer for the first time, which I'm not a fan of boxing, by the way. I don't like people getting paid to hit each other. But if the first time the boxer gets in the ring, no matter how great he is, no matter how strong he is, if he's never done this before, he or she, they're likely going to get their ass beat. You know, first time a person steps on a basketball court, you know, they're likely going to miss every fucking shot that they throw up, and they're going to suck at dribbling. Okay? These are facts. I don't understand how we as a species has not been able to wrestle with these facts yet. And you're like, no, I know that. Then why do you treat yourself with so much pressure when you're doing something for the first time? Why do you expect? You know what I'm saying? No, you have to be. I love that. I'm a pro at dribbling on my pillow. You have to be prepared to lose. Is that good? That's a part of building resilience. Because if you're afraid of losing, you're never going to do what it takes. If you're afraid of what other people are going to say, you're never going to do what it takes. If you're afraid of what people are going to think if it doesn't work, you're never going to do what it takes. If at first you don't succeed, try again. I love it. All right. So, and this third one, and we have a lot to unpack today, so y'all are good. This next one is turn your negatives into opportunities. Turn your negatives into opportunities. Turn your negatives into opportunities. A proactive mindset can open you up to new possibilities and solutions. I don't know. Did I tell this story last week? I feel like, did I tell the story about the man at the janitor place? Okay, I'm gonna tell the story. I don't remember if I told it. I know I'll talk to you about it, but I don't remember if I said it here. But you've got to learn how to see criticism and critique differently than everybody else. You've got to learn how to see opposition differently than everybody else. You have to learn how to see opposition as opportunity. You got to hear complaints as something that you can construct around, right? And so there's this story that preachers have told, and because preachers have told it, I think it's a lie. I'm almost positive it's made up because preachers, we like to take parabolic license, which means we like to just make shit up because we know we fableize. Fableizers be fabulating. We're gonna fableize. Fabulate.
True imagery.
Yeah. So, but there's this story. Of this man who worked at one of these big old companies, buildings in New York somewhere that has several different companies in it. You know what I'm saying? So you got company on the 3rd floor, the 4th floor. You got several different companies in it and all that stuff. And there's a bunch of big wigs, big executives. Everybody makes six figures and stuff like that. Everybody got 6-figure friends and all that shit. Everybody making $350,000, $450,000 and up. And so he working there. He's just a little bit of janitor. He's just a janitor, and he working there every day. And the people, every day he hear the people coming out, going through the elevator, and they're rushing and then they're complaining because there's not enough time in the busy city to get their lunch, and he's hearing it every day. They complaining every day. And at first he kind of mad about it because he's like, who the fuck are they to be complaining? They get paid all this damn money. You get paid $350,000, $450,000 a year. This isn't for the Joneses. I like that. You get all of this money and you complaining about not being able to eat, not being there. Like you could have somebody do this and do this. He's going off. And so he's telling his wife every day he's going off to his wife, telling her, baby, they're complaining, and they're not grateful. Like, I got to show up and I got to clean up after them and they're not grateful. And his wife said, now, baby, they complaining, but they complaining about something that we can do something about. She said, now, we can't do a lot, but what we can do is I can cook, And so what they did was, according to this preacher story, which may or may not be true, and I'm leaning towards it not being true, what they did was they put together a business where they supplied food exclusively to the businesses that was in that company, got contracts with all of those people, you know what I'm saying? And actually did very well for themselves by meeting a need, And that is another thing that I do realize in the secular community, that we are very averse to business. And I like it. I don't know why people think that being anti-capitalism shouldn't be anti-business. I don't know what you think they do in socialist and communist countries. They still got to go to work. And ultimately, work is a major part of how we've evolved as a species. And so this is why this is so good. What you should be looking for is, how can I help? You hear that? How can I help? Every time you hear the complaints, every time you hear the criticism, every time you see the critique, the question should become, how can I help? What can I do? Is this a problem that I can do something about? Now, sure, sometimes the answer is going to be not a damn thing. Ain't shit I can do about it. Sometimes that will be the answer. Yeah. But there will be more times where you will begin to realize, like, oh my goodness, that is an opportunity for me to make a difference. There's an opportunity for me to create a solution. So a proactive mindset involves taking initiative and anticipating future challenges or opportunities rather than merely reacting to events as they occur. Individuals with this mindset actively shape their circumstances through deliberate actions and forward-thinking strategies. Man, I hope this is helping somebody out there.
Yes, I love that. And here are a few characteristics of a proactive mindset. And one of those are anticipation. I was about to say participation. participate. No, anticipation. So proactively identifying identical issues or opportunities before they rise. So try to anticipate what's going to happen and how you can resolve or start to have steps in place. Also, a key characteristic of a proactive mindset is initiative, taking action without waiting for external prompts.
Yep.
And was that a song or was it just a saying? It's like wait. You got to wait for God, or you got to wait on the Lord. That's a common verbiage that's used in the church. And I say, instead of waiting, plan, prepare, right? Because if the longer you wait, nothing's going to get done. So it's better to use prepare or plan. Another characteristic of a proactive mindset, responsibility, acknowledging and accepting ownership of one's actions and their outcomes. Again, you can't control what anybody else does, but you can control what you do. You can control what you see as much as you can, and what you hear and what you do. So do the things that are in your control. That's the vow I made to myself, especially this year, for everything that I want to do or accomplish. Let me take control of that and do what's in my control. Do what I can do. Get active and do what I, and those will essentially pile up. It's like sowing seeds, as they say.
Well, I wanted to add to that too, because responsibility, obviously, y'all know I preach the gospel of responsibilities. But that came at a very crucial point in my life, where I realized that I'd spent so much time fighting back that I was never really fighting forward, right? And what I noticed, like, I had to shift my perspective. And this was just for me. This may not be for everybody, but we'll see what you get from it. I had to shift my perspective from blame to responsibility, from fault to responsibility. Like, so I think I've shared with you all before that I went through a lot of damn near just flat out abusive relationships with other pastors, financially abusive, emotionally abusive, and stuff like that. And I'd always try to make those things work, primarily because my I don't want to say my psychosis at the time, but my pathology, there we go. My pathology at the time was, it is my job to be a good David to Saul. I have to submit to leadership, and through submission, God will show me whatever. But once I got to this place, we had went through something where this pastor had just flat out lied about what my salary was going to be, flat out lied about these other benefits we were going to get. Damn, even lied about where we were going to be living, and then paid me the least amount possible. And I mean, damn near tortured me almost every fucking day at work. And, I guess that was new for them. And I was going through that situation, and I was like, I don't know what I want to do about this anymore. Because I'd been in situations like that so many times before. And I was like, okay, this time I want to do something different. And what I did was, because I was mad, I was pissed off at that motherfucker. Yeah. I was pissed the fuck off. But I said, you know what? This is his fault. It is. But his fault does nothing for me. His fault doesn't change the situation. His fault doesn't prevent him from doing the shit again. The only thing his fault does is show me who he is. Now, what is my responsibility going to do about that shit? And my responsibility, resign. Read the fuck sign, So no, I resigned because and it was a major life lesson for me, because I realized that much of the turmoil that I'd put myself through in life is because I didn't take the responsibility to separate myself from toxic people.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a part of fighting forward.
I love that.
Oh man.
And attached to responsibility, we also must be able to adapt, right?
Adaptability, yes.
Adjusting plans and strategies in response to changing circumstances. And the last characteristics of a proactive mindset is determination, maintaining a positive outlook and focusing on solutions rather than the problems. You do want to be aware of the problems and have knowledge of the problems, but that shouldn't be where you stop. what are some solutions? And if you can't be the only person to do the solutions, how can you throw out ideas, and maybe there's some other group or organization that's already kind of working on that, then you can feed into that. And so we had anticipation, initiative, responsibility, adaptability, and determination. And so adopting a proactive mindset can lead to an increased effectiveness, reduce stress.
Yes.
Okay. And a greater sense of control. It empowers individuals to navigate challenges with confidence and resilience. It for sure builds confidence when you take those steps.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, which this actually kind of brings to mind an excellent resource that our research team pulled, and we'll make sure that this is available to you. But this is about turning threats into opportunities, right? And man, you know, I just love that so much. That remember, the problem statement is always the beginning. Yeah. The problem statement is never the end. It is the beginning. I used to say around the house all the time, don't stop at the problem. Don't stop at a problem. Do not stop at the problem. Don't stop till you get enough. Right. Because if you've identified the problem, identifying the problem is not the final step. It's the first step. And so, which means you now have more work to do, you know? So always remember that when you see a problem, your problem is missing a solution. And every solution is an opportunity to expand, you know. Oh, man. So let's talk about a few guidelines that was in this document, and we'll make this document available to you. I think this one is open source, but it talks about turning threats into opportunities, and it has some guidelines and principles that are based on the experience of the authors and 8 stories that they provide in the second section of the document. They're intended to be used by the reader to transform their own communities. And so they give us 7 guidelines and principles. And the first one is community-based, which is kind of like what we're already doing, right? Mm-hmm. Successful community transformation starts with a strong base of resident involvement and leadership. So let me just kind of make that sense. Let me make that make sense. So our goal is community development, right? So that's why, and honestly, I struggled with this. Y'all about to get some stuff. You about to get some stuff from my head. I struggled when we were building out Bridge City, what it should look like. Do you know how long I struggled with what my role should be, with what I should call myself? Mm-hmm. Like, what am I? Because honestly, I don't mind the title pastor because I know what the word meant before it was used. So I don't mind that, but it just doesn't mean anything, right? Mm-hmm. It's more of a title than it is a function in today's mindset. And so I wanted to be very clear on so what is my function? And so my function is community developer. And I actually like that. And that's kind of the thing that we're going to do. We don't have titles at Bridge City. We have functions. You know what I'm saying? I don't need a title. I have a name. You can call me Darante. That's my name. Love you know what I'm saying? Facilitator. Come on. Yes, Susanna. You know? And so community developer. And I like that, facilitator. I might have to add that on there. But so our goal is to develop community. So, and in this case, what is our community? What is the community that I see? Global. Our goal, the GOAT, I'll take it. I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? I can only be humble for so long. Now let me stop. But the goal, I kind of like advance. Yes, I love that, Ember. I do love that. The good news. Because corporations already use evangelists for their tech evangelists and stuff like that. So no, I fucking love it. God damn it, I love it. But so the community that we're trying to develop is global community. The community that we're trying to transform is global community. And so right now we have a strong base of global residents who are involved with this community, and we're working on building that leadership aspect. So community transformation starts off with having a community base. One of our biggest objectives as the Bridge is to take as many individuals and organizations as possible and connect them together. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be like Jesus in this regard. My greatest prayer is that you all be one. But that's like the whole damn truth. We need to be connected. Mm-hmm. So
I like that you said global residents.
Yes, global residents. Oh, that does kind of have like a little swag to it. It got some vibe on it. Dang, I want to make an R. Kelly joke, but he's canceled, so I'm going to leave that alone. Ooh, pastor of apostates. I like that. I like that. Oh, man. Ooh, mantle the atheist pastor and ride that. It's a niche and there are, hey, you're not wrong. Oh, shit, you're not wrong. Damn it, I like y'all. I love y'all. I think I love y'all.
I did.
I think I love y'all. We're going to have to cut on some music and let this get personal. So community-based, and as y'all can see, oh, man, y'all are cracking me up, man. Who missed the atmosphere of the church? There are, for sure. All right, y'all, so we got the community base. And we also have the next part of having that is of being able to turn your threats into opportunities. You need that community base, but you also need assets. Let's talk about assets. So every community has assets that can be used to its advantage. This includes skills, talents, and experiences of our residents. I like that a lot now, as well as the resources of local institutions and businesses. And I think we've done a really good job in our recent series of reminding every individual member of this community that you have exponential ways of adding value.
Yeah.
We don't have to all have the same skills. We don't have to all have the same talent, nor do we all even have to have the same level of commitment. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's nuance to this. So like whether you're the people who are just smiling at people and that's your job, you know, like there's some people, they got 99 problems and smiling ain't one. You know what I'm saying? They can smile like, oh, I'm smile. I'm just gonna love people when they come. I'm make people feel good. That's valuable. You know, the people who hit the reactions, like y'all just, if you storm the reactions right now real quick with the love, the 100s, the likes, the little, I don't know, what's that thing called? The fanfare. I don't know. I'm calling it fanfare. That makes me feel old.
The party thing?
Yeah, the little party thing, you know, all of those things are incredibly valuable. Building conversations in the Discord community is incredibly valuable. When you see somebody else say something in chat and you just want to be a part of it and you contribute to it, it's incredibly valuable. The people who help in production, it's valuable. We as a secular community, we as a global community, we have to start learning how to value. I love that, Susanna. Residents of valuable contributors, and we have to learn how to value each other's contribution. We have to move away from those class-based capitalistic frameworks that what makes us look at other people in accordance to what we do or what we think we deserve or what we think they deserve. And we need to give people that freedom to just say, man, I'm just glad you're doing something. And I'm glad you're doing something that fits who you are and that is growing into who you are. There's grace in this stuff, man. There's grace in this stuff. Okay. And so then the next one, elements of strategy and process. So community-based assets, but in elements of strategy and process, which is what we're working on now. Successful community transformation requires both a clear strategy and a well-defined process. The strategy should be based on the community's assets and needs, and the process should be inclusive and participatory. So you've heard us talking about this more and more and more and more. There's already a Black non-believers out there. Bridge City is not trying to be that, right? Our goal is to be inclusive. So I get a little nervous when I'm like, damn, it's just Black folk every Sunday, you know, as just me and my wife, because we the Black folk that I'm talking about. And I'm like, people need to see other faces. I can't speak for every culture. I'm a smart guy. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm a smart guy. I could probably bluff my way through some shit where you think I could speak for every culture, but I can't speak. Wait, it's hilarious. But I can't speak for every culture. And we have members of our community who are part of every culture. We have people in our community who are Hispanic. We have white folk in our community. We have gay people in our community. We have trans folk in our community. We have everybody. And so it does a disservice the longer we go and those other bodies and faces aren't a part of the main shows. You see how that works? So a part of our strategy and process is making sure that we're being inclusive. So you're going to start seeing more and more and more. You are the token white guy, Chris. No, I'm just playing. But you're going to start seeing more and more and more people in these conversations, not just picking up where we're leaving off, but bringing conversations to the channel that we wouldn't be able to bring to the channel. You know what I'm saying? because that's the strategy is to be a better way to connect, right? That's our strategy. Yeah. That's our strategy. Be a better way to connect, right? The process, that's the hard part, right? The process is to be intentional about it, is to build community. We talk about being progressive thinking, people-centric, and life-affirming. And it's going to be important that as we continue to move forward, that we hold each other accountable to those. All right. The next one, early development considerations. It's important to consider the long-term implications of community transformation projects early in the development process. This includes things like ensuring that our projects are financially sustainable, which y'all know my mind is there right now, and that it will benefit the community in the long run. So almost everything we're focused on right now, especially me from the development perspective, almost everything I'm focused on right now, I'm thinking about what is this going to look like in the long term? How does this support the different marginalized members of our communities? How does this help us undergird and support the other secular communities that are out here that are doing good service, that they do 99 great things. Community is just the one thing that they don't do well. If we excel at that, then they won't have to. If we excel at that, then we can undergird all of these things. I think I've said it before, but if we have BridgeCity campuses all across the globe, then every single one of those campuses can be sponsoring site for recovering from religion meetup groups. Every single one of those campuses can be sponsoring site for Black non-believer meetup groups. Every single one of those campuses can, oh my goodness, I don't know, is that something that just excites me? But that's the point, is not just to build something where we can look back and say, oh, we did something, that's nice. It's actually, that's nice, that's real nice, ain't it? That's nice. No, it's actually to build something that is a fucking tangible impact, that makes a difference, that is a unifier. Hell, one ring to rule them all, Lord of the Rings fans. It's to be that bridge.
It's something that can be passed on, right?
Absolutely.
Because if anything, where it needs to be to that point, you want to keep it going even past our existence.
Yes, absolutely.
And so another thing we're looking at, guidelines and principles, a variety of roles, which we kind of touched on. There are many different roles that people and organizations can play in community transformation. And so some people may be involved in organizing, others in development, and still others in providing services. It is important to have a variety of roles in order to ensure that all aspects of the community are addressed.
Yes.
Okay. And also, synergy works. Community transformation projects are often more successful when they are synergistic. That is when they work together to create a greater impact that could achieve alone. And so it is definitely important to have some synergy.
Yes.
Okay. And to always think of the common goal, and always remember that you may not agree with everyone you're working with, but what is the common goal? Always remember to walk in love, walk in understanding. It's not your job. You don't have to leave the table agreeing with everybody, because you may live in a different place. You have different experiences. There are different variables in your life that contribute to how you think and what you do. And so just always walk with that mindset as well. And also, coming off the guideline and principle of policies matter.
Yep.
Public policies can have a significant impact on community transformation. Obviously, we see it is important to advocate for policies that support community development and that address the needs of low-income communities as well.
And I want to add to that, because when we think about policies matter and we think about public policy, we typically think about what the people who are breaking shit are doing. You know what I'm saying? The people who are breaking shit. But I want to know, this is one of those unspoken powers of community. All right, showing you the hidden powers. This is the hidden colors of community right now. Right, the hidden figures. One of the hidden superpowers of community is that you can make negative policies irrelevant. That's the power. of community, especially if we build global community. You know what I'm saying? That's really my biggest disappointment. And it's not a disappointment as in like I'm mad at everybody, but my biggest disappointment is in the secular community is like, okay, we've been going this long and we haven't organized to be an effective institution yet. You know, like, no, we have plenty of things that we can watch. And I guess as a sociologist, maybe that's just a unique perspective that I bring to the table. But I'm like, no, we need to be organizing in our ways so that when people do rise and make policies that are dangerous and that are harmful, that we are in a position that we can make those policies fucking ineffective. And there are ways to do that. But community is the key to getting there for sure. All right. So that was from that segment. We're going to move on to the next session. And the next section, and that is the biggest thing is learning how to move beyond conflict. All right. So we've talked about adversity as a catalyst. We've talked about turning threats into opportunities. Because what all of this is about is learning how to fight forward. Right. And so when it comes to moving beyond conflict, instead of getting stuck in a cycle of conflict, you can learn how to move forward with a fresh perspective, Okay, so let's walk through a few ways that we can move beyond conflict. Right? Oh snap, Maryland! Which part of Maryland? We are from the DMV.
PG County.
PG County. Yeah, please share where you're from, y'all. Let us know where you're watching from, city and state, please. All right, so a few ways that we can move beyond conflict. And this right here is applicable in so many different areas of your life. The first one is engaging in collective care. And when we're talking about moving beyond conflict, I'm not just talking about you and somebody being in conflict. I'm talking about living in a world that is conflicted with your existence, right? So there is a world that is conflicted against the existence of Black folks sometimes, against the existence of transgender folks sometimes, against the existence of women sometimes. There is a world that is in conflict against people who are secular, who are atheists. And so how do we move beyond that conflict, from having that conflict have such a impact on our lives? One of the first things that we can do as a community is engage in collective care, right? Recognizing that the well-being of community members is a collective responsibility. One of the shows that we started on this channel and we had to pull away from because we just couldn't get enough participation, but it's coming back to the channel, is called Group Therapy. And the whole ideology of group therapy is that we're responsible for each other. You know, that's the whole idea, that the well-being of community members is a collective responsibility. And so what we can do is implement practices that support each other's physical, emotional, and social needs, you know? And so this is why we're doing more and more, like we're doing more and more talking about economics. We're doing more and more talking about how we can share stuff. We're doing more and more talking about how we can take the revenue that's building up on the channel and actually build it out so that we can build solid economic systems, because that is a form of collective care. Oh, that is so good. But not only that, feel like Dr. King now. But not only that, no, let me stop. Northeastern Ontario, all right. Belton, Texas, Quebec, yikes. Oh, wow. Glenross, Fife, Scotland. And am I pronouncing that right? North of Baltimore, okay. Right. Baltimore. You got to say it, you know, be more. And so the second one, or this next one is, another thing that communities can do is to build intersectional solidarity, which is something we just kind of spoke to, right? Like, again, that's why we call ourselves the Bridge, is to be connected to every other, like, it's not just every other secular organization, every organization that's putting people first and that's actually meeting a people-centric need. We want to be connected with those organizations, right? So you want to acknowledge and respect the various identities within the community. Understanding the experiences of oppression are multifaceted, right? And we want to form alliances with other marginalized groups to strengthen collective efforts against systemic injustices. And that's why I said even earlier, like, I think because we're Black, I think sometimes people think that maybe, we're going to be the new Black non-believers. And I'm like, oh no, there's already a Black non-believers. We don't exist in any way to undermine that effort. What we exist to do is to undergird that effort, to support that effort. You see, isn't that beautiful? And that's with all of the other communities, because that's what makes us stronger. If somebody else has already said, I'm solving this problem, and they're being effective at it, and if we care about that problem, then it's much better for us, instead of creating a different solution, is to help support that solution. And that makes sense? I think so. This next one, and this is important.
Building bricks, not nothing.
That's right. Yes. This next one, and this is very important. We need to foster political education and advocacy. I love the work that the secular community by far and large does with science education. We don't need to stop it. It is absolutely beautiful. Don't let up. Man, don't let up off the gas. The work the secular community is doing in science education, please do more of it. It's great. But we do need to be doing some work in political education, because that's how we keep losing. You know what I'm saying? And that's again, I think I had this conversation on when I was on the Jimmy Snow's podcast. Was that earlier this week? A lot has happened this week. Damn.
Was it this week already?
Yikes. So I was on Jimmy Snow's podcast, and this conversation came up, and about the election, because it was political. And I said, I think what most people fail to realize is that the Republican Party has a religious community that meets every fucking Sunday and every fucking Wednesday. So they have plenty of places they can go to sow their ideas about how the world is supposed to be. Every fucking Sunday, they are having conversations around the things that are important to them. And so I then asked, what does the other side have? Individualism. That's all you got. That's how we lost. That's how we lost. Because even though their political education is miseducation, they educated more people than we did. You know what I'm saying? Right? Jimmy has a podcast. Oh, that was funny. I love it. But yes, so we do need to do some work in political education. Yes, it is sickening. It is sickening. We have to do some work in political education. We have to provide resources and training to help community members understand the structure of oppression and their rights. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to tell you something I know about the nature of oppression. When you really start pulling at it, it gets uglier and uglier. I think the most superstitious thing that many Americans think is that you can get rid of oppression by changing the laws. Doesn't work that way. It never has. You know what I'm saying? Laws don't change people. People change laws. Right. You know what I'm saying? And then also advocating for change, engage in organized efforts to influence policy decisions that affect the community, aiming for systemic change. And when I talk about political education, I don't mean just the politics of your country, right? It's actually the politics of our individual countries is what has become the largest abstraction, in my humble opinion, the largest abstraction to political freedom. Because people have reduced what political education means to, people confuse political with patriotic. So anytime we say political education, what we're talking about is how to do something in your nation. That's not what I'm talking about. When I talk about political education, I'm talking about how to put people in power, how to help communities get power. That's political education. Political education is teaching people how to get in position to do the things that matter to them. Self-sufficiency, self-sustainability, self-government, all that shit. I'll say some stuff, but yes. Okay. So that was my last one for that one, right?
And we have two more ways of how you can move forward. And one, promote healing and resilience. You got to address any trauma that you or anyone else have been experiencing. So implementing programs that can focus on healing from collective trauma, such as counseling and support groups, help. If you follow the Apostate Sisters, they kind of have some of that going on on their channel. So if you have experiences, for instance, with being in cults or anything, you should check them out as well. And so addressing those collectively, not just by yourself, can help if we do it together. And also celebrating culture, organizing cultural events and activities that affirm the community's identity and history, fostering pride and unity. And so everything doesn't necessarily have to be pointing fingers, this or that, this are doing this are doing it. It's coming together and learning how to live and be humane with each other and learning. And that's how you grow in a collective, from a collective standpoint, and build that resilience. And lastly, engage in direct action and community organizing. So we can organize campaigns, we can build coalitions, and so we can lead initiatives that address specific issues of oppression, such as protests, petitions, and community meetings. We can also collaborate with other organizations and communities to amplify efforts and resources. So by implementing these strategies, communities can move forward beyond the cycles of conflict, fostering resilience and creating environments where all members can thrive while truly fighting forward. Okay, so 2025, you're going to thrive.
Yeah.
We're going to thrive. And we have a super chat by Kirk, I see. Thank you so much.
Yes, Kurt, we can put that back up. He says, I was hoping for a profound insight, but all I got is this super chat. Hey, that super chat is pretty profound to me. And apparently Ember feels the same way, so I love it. And I see you're going to be helping with the California fire cleanup, man. That's incredible. Lots of love to you. Please stay safe. That's amazing. It does feel good to know that we have some community members that are out there making a difference in such a tangible way. So, man, much love. If there's anything that we as a community can do to support, because we do have quite a few members of our community who are in the California area, y'all, please do not hesitate to let us know ways that we can help, especially for those of you who are helping. If there are things that we can organize to send, maybe, I don't know, I was going to say water, but it sounds like I'm being funny when you say send water.
Yeah.
But you know, anything, please let us know, and we can figure out how to organize around that. Oh, but that is awesome. That is just, it's beautiful. Okay, so this next session we're going to talk about, because again, this whole idea is about fighting forward. Now, who knew that fighting forward had so much to do with emotional resilience, right?
Yeah.
Had so much to do with actually learning how to move forward, you know? And so I want to talk about emotional intelligence and conflict resolution. Emotional intelligence, which is also known as as emotional quotient, refers to the ability to recognize, understand, manage, and influence your own emotions and the emotions of others. It encompasses several key components, many of which some of you are already familiar with. The first one is self-awareness, right? Self-awareness, the capacity to accurately perceive and comprehend one's own emotions and their impact on thoughts and behavior, right? This other thing is self-awareness is so important because, again, one of the first questions we introduced at the beginning of this is, what's the goal? Canadian water bombers took send water to another level. I love that. It's what's the goal, right? So self-awareness is, no matter what the situation is, you need to be aware of what it is that you want out of it, right? And you need to be aware of how you're responding to it, which brings us to that next one, self-regulation, the ability to control or redirect disrespectful, to redirect disruptive emotions and impulses, maintaining adaptability and integrity.
Beyond the mama.
You have to self-check. Like none of us like being checked by other people. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind being checked by other people, but I'm better than most. So it is what it is. You know, the only way you get better is by getting checked a lot, right? But if you know that you don't like being checked, then the only way you're going to create to prevent conflict in your life is you're going to have to be consistently checking yourself. You need to self-check. But that's actually a practice that we should all have. We should all have a practice of self-regulation. Nobody should have to tell you when something you're doing is being disruptive.
Yeah.
You should be able to self-regulate. But that's also, you got to have that self-awareness to get there. But then there's also the motivation, right? Which is a passion to work for reasons beyond external rewards, fostering a strong drive to achieve goals. But then another thing that's a part of this is empathy, the skill to understand and share the feelings of others, facilitating effective communication and relationship building. Now, what I've found out is that many people who use the word empathy don't actually know what it means.
Yeah.
So sometimes people think they're being empathetic, and what they're being is politically respectable. It's respectability politics. So you say, oh, don't say it, don't say that. Or, oh, let me do this for you. Or and it's like, no, you're not being empathetic. You're just doing what you think is the script to do. You're never being empathetic unless you're actually paying attention to the person. If you're just moving from a knee-jerk reaction, then empathy is not in play. If you're doing this because this is the polite thing to do, then empathy is not in play. If you're doing this because this is what my mom and them told me to do, then empathy is not in play. You know, empathy is only in play when you're actually seeking to understand and share in the feelings of others, which facilitates that effective communication, right? And of course, all of this plays into social skills, proficiency in managing relationships, inspiring others, and inducing desired responses through effective communication, right? So again, that's self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, your motivation. What am I doing this for? Why am I doing this? Empathy, which there is no cheat code to empathy. You actually have to pay attention to other people. I despise respectability politics so much because it has actually deprived humans of knowing how to connect to each other genuinely, because they're all doing what they see on television instead of asking the people they're in relationships with. You don't build human connection by valuing what you saw on television more than you value the people. It makes no sense, which I was writing about in one of my books. I was going to write about this concept of romantic fragility, where people have developed their romantic ideas based off of television shit. And it's like, no, you can live in real life at any moment. You can do that shit. And so then, so those are social skills.
I like that it's SMEs.
SMEs. Yes. Oh, I do see that. So developing emotional intelligence is crucial. That's right, Alyssa. It's the people, stupid, you know? It's crucial for personal and professional success as it enhances interpersonal relationships, decision-making, and conflict resolution. Individuals with a high EI are often better equipped to navigate social complexities and lead effectively. And so when you hear things like emotional intelligence, or you hear things that are dealing with intelligence, period, please understand that these are all things that we all have access to, right? So, I'll often say we're all smart in some areas and dumb in some areas, but every person who's a part of the human species is intelligent. Intelligence is a marker of our species, but it's not just a marker of our species. We're not the only intelligent species. There are several other species that are intelligent, but we are all intelligent. So even if you're looking through this and you say, oh, some of these things are not things that I'm so great at right now, that's that adaptability aspect. Like, you can grow into it. I know we have skeletons, but we have neurons too. So you can change and adapt more than you think. And many times what I found is that some people think that they're socially awkward. And it's really not that you're socially awkward. It's just that everybody else is fucking fake. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so many,
And so it becomes an offense when someone speaks straight up.
Yeah. Yep. So like this morning, Kyle had put together a little poll about the for people engaging in the comments, and we looked at something, and baby girl was like, "Oh, that might be a little too hard." And she was, and I looked at it and I said, "No, I don't think so. It's just saying the words. It's just saying the words. Because we don't want to create a culture where we're tiptoeing around things and not saying stuff like, no, let's just say it. No, you know,
Because
and it
then
was
you live a
beautiful.
life of tiptoe. And then she updated to stay on top of it. I'm like, straight to the point.
I love it. I love it.
That's all.
And it's good because we have to give each other the freedom. And I tell like my teams at work, I tell them whenever they're dealing with something, this is gonna be a difficult situation. We gotta let somebody go, we gotta discipline somebody. I always say, just say the words.
Mm-hmm.
You're not
Say
in
what's
control
going
of
on.
other people's outcomes.
Yeah.
You're not in control of that. You're not in control of how they respond. Just say
Right.
the words. And if they don't like the words, then guess what they can do? They can say the words. If they don't like the words, they can say the words that, hey, those words hurt me. And then we can have the conversation. But I'm not going to try to be a psychic.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do that. That brought me too much trauma in my life trying to figure out what this is going to do and what this is not going to do. Nope. Everybody got to say the
Because
words.
then sometimes assumptions lead to never having
Oh, yeah.
conversation or never getting active and things of that nature.
Well, it creates, to me, it ends up creating a slippery slope where people are afraid to hold each other accountable and they're afraid to have hard conversations. And that is something that I don't want to take on the bathwater of the religious groups where we act like fucking children in adults' bodies. We're like, every time somebody said something to you, your whole life just fell apart. I can't believe they said that to me. I'm dead. Death drop. You know, like, no, we're not going to do that. And we're not. I don't want to create this culture where we have like nicety politics. Well, such and such didn't smile at me, so they're being mean today. Like, no, you know, like, I don't want to do that. And so I definitely want to cultivate a community where people are okay having conversations with each other, even if those conversations aren't hunky dory. You know what I'm saying? Woo, yes. Awesome.
Yes. And so emotional intelligence plays a pivotal role in predicting, responding to, and managing conflicts, both at the individual and community levels. By enhancing EI, individuals and communities can navigate conflicts more effectively, which fosters healthier relationships and promoting collective well-being. All right. And then, so let's go through some of these where EI can help and be effective, and that's in predicting conflict. Having self-awareness, individuals with high EI can recognize their own emotional triggers, enabling them to anticipate situations that might lead to conflict. This foresight allows for proactive measures to prevent escalation, and also having empathy. By understanding and sharing the feelings of others, individuals can foresee potential areas of disagreement, facilitating early interventions. And that's important. And I see it a lot, even at work, and having to kind of foster those who are on my team and kind of transitioning them to understanding that as well. And so it's in every area of life.
For sure.
And also responding to conflict using emotional regulation and effective communication. So high EI enables individuals to manage their emotions during conflicts, preventing impulsive reactions and promoting thoughtful responses. This regulation is crucial in de-escalating tense situations. You know, you got some people who say, I go from 0 to 100 real quick, you know? And so you kind of want to learn how can I better regulate if I know that, right? And also, individuals with high EI are adept at expressing their thoughts and feelings clearly and listening actively, which is essential for resolving misunderstanding and finding common ground. All right. And having emotional intelligence also helps with managing conflict through adaptability and leadership. And so those with high IE also can adjust their conflict management styles to suit the situation, right? Because each situation may be different. Whether through collaboration, compromise, or other strategies, this flexibility enhances the likelihood of a positive outcome. And leaders can also inspire trust, promote others, and guide groups through conflicts, fostering a cooperative environment when they have high EI. And their ability to manage their own emotions and understand those of others is key to effective leadership. So at the community level, fostering EI can lead to more cohesive, resilient groups. Communities with high EI are also better equipped to handle collective challenges, promote inclusivity, and support members through conflict. So in summary, emotional intelligence is integral to effectively predicting, responding to, and managing conflicts. By cultivating EI, individuals and communities can navigate conflicts constructively, leading to a stronger, more harmonious relationships.
Absolutely. And this is I love this because that's what fighting forward is really about. Fighting forward is choosing to navigate instead of to retreat. You know, fighting forward is learning how to manage conflict. You know, one of the things that I'm working with my team on at work now is I need you to come in every day expecting it to be the company it was yesterday. Mm-hmm. It's the same people. Because if you don't, you're going to be disappointed every day. Yeah. Disappointment is a child of false expectations. Expecting, I've literally said it that way to them. Like we need to accept the fact that we're in an abusive relationship. He's not going to change. We got to leave. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But it's so important. Like learning how to fight forward is learning how to navigate. There was a preacher years ago, and I'll never forget this advice because it was good advice. And he said, I'll only fight battles that I get spoils for. Mm. In other words, like, why am I going to like that? And that's the danger of fighting back. Yeah. When you're fighting back, the only thing you got was your lick. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's all you got was your lick. Yeah. This is why it actually is it's amazing to me that people still think that physical fighting is somehow tolerable. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I trust me, I have more things I can do to you than just with my hands. I promise you. Like, and I teach my kids, Martins, we don't fight with our hands. We can. We can, but we don't fight with our hands. We fight with our minds, you know. But you fight forward. I'm only fighting for things that I want. I'm not wasting my time fighting against things that I don't. I am fighting for things that I want. Yes, putting on the armor of snark every day I go to work. I love that. So in navigating these things, this next one, I think this might be the last one or the last section for this one, is self-care and collective healing. You know, it's a theme, right? Because like you can't do all of this talking about fighting without doing talking about healing. Yeah. Without doing talking about caring. See, I love the way that we approach stuff. Activists and community builders often face significant challenges that can lead to burnout and trauma. So to mitigate these risks and promote sustainable engagement, here's some strategies that we can consider. The first one, and this should be an easy one. Anybody who's ever been into any type of therapy, if you've ever had any type of counseling that was worth its salt, the first one is we all have to learn how to establish clear boundaries. It is absolutely essential to set limits and learn to say no. You know what I'm saying? You can define, whether it's defining specific work hours and personal time to prevent overcommitment, and that is especially important for those people who are helping us out as volunteers. You have to set those limits, and then you have to learn to say no, to politely decline additional responsibilities that may lead to stress. You know, so like obviously there's a lot that needs to be done at BridgeCity. I wear a lot of hats, and they're heavy as fuck. Okay. I wear a lot of hats. I'm looking to take some of them off, but I'm not looking to take the hat off to give it to people who don't have the time to take the hat, right? So please don't ever feel pressured to do anything that you can't do because it's just bad math, all right? As a pragmatist, that's stupid. Don't do that. That's what I used to do all the time. I used to always tell people I could do stuff that I couldn't do, that I didn't have time to do, that I didn't have the availability to do. And then I'd be mad and disappointed and frustrated going through all of that. And then I realized, bruh, you could have just said no. You could have just set the limits. And so establish clear boundaries. For those of you that are seeking more ways to get involved with BridgeCity, it is absolutely tolerable, fine, and even celebrated for you to say, this is how much I will be involved. This is how many hours a week I'll commit. I'm not really going past that anytime. So and I'm not just saying that to make you feel better. I'm saying that to say that's what you should be fucking doing with everything. That's what you should be fucking doing. I do that at work. No, the buck stops here. After this, don't. I had to put somebody in check this past week about messaging me before I'm at work. I'm like, no, if I'm not here, I'm not responding.
You to answer.
No, yeah, like, no, I'm not responding. I'm going to look at that message because I'm not here. I'm not on the clock yet. But no, you have to establish clear boundaries. You also have to prioritize self-care, right? You can't fight forward if you're not healthy enough to fight. You see that? I'm going to say it one more time. You can't fight forward if you're not healthy enough to fight. So you have to prioritize self-care. You know, physical health is major. Engage in regular exercise, maintain a balanced diet, and ensure adequate sleep. Healthy mind and a healthy body, right? And then which brings us to mental health. Practice mindfulness, meditation, or other relevant techniques to manage stress. And just and please understand that nobody has cornered the market on managing stress. Nobody has the one way that fixes all to manage stress. This is a great way for you to explore and experiment with things that work for you, you know? So I know one of the things we'll be doing, which has already been mentioned, in March, we're going to pilot these midday mindfulness sessions, where that will be the goal, to give us some times of secular time together to work on our mindfulness, work on that meditation, give us some positive things to talk about. And then there's also, we need to foster supportive relationships. It is critical. Oh man, I love that. If you're fighting, you're gonna get wounded. So you better know how to heal up to keep moving on.
I love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we need peer support, you know, so you connect with fellow members, fellow activists for mutual encouragement and shared experiences, right? And then seek guidance from mental health professionals as well when needed. In the secular community, we should be proud advocates of professional help, right? And then engage in reflective practices, you know, assess your personal motivations and the impact of your work to maintain alignment with your views, and then acknowledge and appreciate both small and large successes to sustain motivation. Man, I hope this is good stuff for y'all. And then I think we got a few more on this one, but implement trauma-informed approaches. So we want to understand the trauma within the community to address underlying issues effectively. We want to incorporate activities that promote healing and resilience among community members. So again, that's one of the reasons why we're doing the midday mindfulness in March, and we'll pilot and see how it goes. But that's also why we've incorporated BridgeCity music, even though it's just me right now, you know, it's because these are things that we want to do to make sure that we're creating those moments of collective healing and then collective resilience, and reminding us of it at the same time.
Yes, and other additional strategies on ways to how to prevent burnout or other trauma is encourage organizational support. We say it in so many different ways all the time. Ensure access to necessary tools, training, and support systems is the least that we can do. Leaders should model self-care and prioritize the well-being of the team as a whole. And then also, lastly, embrace sustainable activism. You want to pace yourself. Recognize that activism is a marathon, not a sprint. So balance intensity with rest, and also engage in various forms of activism to prevent monotony or burnout for one specific area. So by integrating these strategies, activists and community builders can create a more sustainable and supportive environment, reducing a risk of burnout and trauma altogether.
I love it. I love it. And that actually brings us to the conclusion of our session today, which I hope you all have pulled something from this that is helping you recalibrate and reconfigure, especially in the aftermath of this recent election, but also just in what we're posturing ourselves to do as a community. that you see that together, no, we can fight forward. But fighting forward isn't just about being loud. Fighting forward isn't just about being aggressive. Fighting forward isn't just about, being big and bad. Fighting forward is about making a difference that's healthy. It's about making a difference watch this. Fighting forward is about moving forward. Okay? Fighting forward is about moving forward. That's the beauty. So that's why we spend a lot of this conversation talking about collective healing, talking about self-care, talking about prioritization, because that's how we fight forward. Because at the end of the day, I often tell you, like, my journey from Pan-Africanism to humanism is realizing that I want for my people, I want for all people, and that's going to be the same for you and wherever you are. Is that when you can take care of yourself, when you learn how to prioritize yourself, you learn how to care for and prioritize others. The people who have the hardest time really respecting and prioritizing other people are absolutely disrespectful to themselves. And that's why they don't know how to respect others.
Wow.
The people who have a hard time prioritizing other people, most times absolutely do not know how to prioritize themselves. So if I've never built the muscle for me, then I've never built the muscle for you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so what I want us to get in fighting forward, when you hear fighting forward, I want you to hear fighting for other people, fighting for all of us, because that's the only way we're going to move together forward. And so I hope you all have enjoyed this conversation. Listen, I don't know what you're a part of. I don't know what you're connected to, but Bridge City absolutely aims to be the fastest growing secular community out here, and for very good reasons. And we'd love to have you to be a part of it. You kind of heard our mission throughout this whole conversation. Our purpose is to be a better way to connect. Our mission is to build community beyond superstition. We do this in a way so that we can value conversations that are progressive thinking, people-centric, and life-affirming. But in order to continue growing, in order to continue doing great work, we need more people connecting to this community every day. We need more people like you who are not just content with sitting on the sidelines, and is not just content with talking about this week's villain, but as a person who's ready to get involved, fight forward, and make a difference. If that's you, we'd love for you to get connected with this community. You can do so by a variety of ways. We're still working on our onboarding process. We talked about this yesterday in our meeting. But right now, the simplest way to get involved and to get connected is to join our Discord. We are, I thought about it yesterday, damn, when you join Discord, we could have the form ready for you as soon as you join. And so join Discord, introduce yourself, let us know that you are here. Type "I am here" in the chat here in YouTube, so we'll be looking for you in Discord. As soon as you get in Discord, introduce yourself. That'll let one of our community team members know that you're here, and they'll make sure to get you some information, some helpful ebooks that we have that gives you more info on the community, and as well to get you a form so we can get your information, so we can stay in contact with you, get you added to the email list, and all of that good stuff, so you don't miss all of that. But thank you all for hanging out with us today. That's all I got. I think I'm at the end. So we're going over to the support session. Yay.
Thanks again for everyone for tuning in and being a part of these community conversations that are helping us grow as individuals and as a community. If it hasn't been obvious yet, we're serious about making a tangible impact, and your financial contributions can empower us to accelerate progress and development in key areas across the globe. So thank you so much for watching, looking through the ads. Thank you so much for your super chats. Thank you for the likes, the loves, the hearts, just everything that all contributes to the help and growth of this community. And if you want to support in a specific way, for instance, you want to donate a specific amount or pledge any amount, for a certain amount of time. We do have a PayPal link. We'll drop it in the chat. And if you're giving through PayPal, you'll see some highlighted options. You can just support Darante and Darnaya, or me. You can support Darante and I together if you want that specifically to go to us. There's also options for content production, community development, community missions, campus activities, and you can support Help and Hope. Help and Hope is where as we get a collective amount specifically towards that. As soon as we have enough to be able to help individuals within our community, that's where that will go. And so we have specific designations for the donations that you bring to us. When you're donating to PayPal, we know based on the options you choose. And so it's not important that you just support communities like this and supporting us, but you should know where your money is going. And so that's why we like to let you know at the end of these sessions all the time, so you are aware of what you're supporting. So thank you for that. And we really want to highlight this in that sense because we'll be able to make a difference in the lives of members in the community, specifically with the Help and Hope option. So we do love that. And so, we'll drop that in the chat. And also, if you're looking to give towards Bridge City Weekend, specifically for the rally event, we'll drop that campaign link in the chat as well.
And don't forget to get registered. Get registered. We got to know you're coming so we can pick the venue.
Yes, and we already dropped the link for that as well. But also, don't forget, Discord has everything. There is a chat for the rally event. We do need help with planning for those who are actually local there.
Yep.
So if you're in North Carolina, close to that area, please join us in Discord and help us out. We would love and appreciate that support in that regard as well. And before we get out of your way, every week we do a poll. It's a live poll, and it's funny. It's light, but it lets us know who's here for the first time and who are just returning constantly throughout the week. And so we had now 29% of newcomers who it's their first time here. So thank you for that. It was just 26, and now it's 29%.
Yeah. So if you haven't let us know in the poll yet, if you're new or not, let us know. And eventually, we're gonna be acting on this stuff. As we continue to grow, we're gonna be doing some special stuff for our newcomers. So you make sure you're participating.
Yes, and with that, 71% said you are returners. You keep coming back. So thank you for that, for your support and listening to us and taking notes. Sundays are a good day to take notes, even Wednesdays at the Beatz. But it's a good day to take some notes and plan for your week, plan what you want to do for the year, how you want to get involved. So thank you so much for that. And all right, I want to make sure hit everything. Don't forget the Ex-Pastor Call-In Show is tonight. Always fun on the Ex-Pastor Call-In Show.
Yes.
Just remember, if you are joining the Call-In Show and you want to ask a question, keep in mind the link that we share for you to get on stage. First, it's a pre-screening room. So you're going to come talk to me, okay? I need your name. I need your location. I need your question and topic. So make sure you have it together, okay? And then I shared the StreamYard link for you to get in. So I know sometimes that's a little, there's been confusion on that, but you're going to a screening room first, okay? But come in with your questions. We love to hear them. And Darante and Kyle have great conversations either way. They're going to give you some good insight. All right. So thank you, Muttley, for putting in the Discord link for others to join. And thank you so much for listening today. We're right at 2 p.m. Central. So with that, we're not going to keep you any longer.
Nope. I do want to remind everybody that on the Daily Atheist Media Network, on the Damn Show, the Damn Network, Chris Mallard is hosting a call-in show right now. I may have flubbed up the name again. I got to get it right. But this video, if you stay tuned to the end of this video will redirect directly to that call-in show, just in case you don't know how to get there. And so today is going to be a Sunday full, and then we'll love to see you back here at 5 o'clock. And of course, like I do have to jump now. I'm going to be a part of a session that won't be recorded, but hopefully we'll be able to do some great work with basically it's like a redemptive arc for somebody, and me and some other folk are playing a role in it, and we'll see how it goes. But thank you all for hanging out with us on this beautiful, lovely Sunday. Until next time, keep rising.
Keep rising.
Until next time, be the bridge. We love you all. We love you all, and we'll holler.
I finally found the agency to live in my authenticity. Ooh, I got my own autonomy. You could never bother me. Yes, I'm unfuckwithable. Yeah. I finally found the agency to live in my authenticity. Ooh, I got my own autonomy. You could never bother me. Yes, I'm unfuckwithable. Let me tell you how I know. I had to get up off the floor. I had to get it out the mud. I had to finally let it go. I know my mama told me so, but she could never really know that when a boy was getting older, that his mind was getting sober, yeah. But I'm getting closer now. I had a church, but I closed it down. Had to reverse the emotions. I had to apologize. Selling eternity, willing to die. I was just living a lie. Walking by faith and ignoring the sight. Better off rolling the dice. And what I'm saying is that I'm living and I've learned. I've given and I've earned enough of my concern. And if I'm living, then I'm living on my terms. Call it a lesson learned, but it's finally been confirmed. I finally got the agency to live in my authenticity. Ooh, I got my own